In the middle of the class, some boys look outside the window and start talking about someone. Our boy Tanuki asks them what they're talking about. They mention seeing the pretty girl from a low-level correspondence high school adjacent to their building, and her outfit looks pretty dumb, along with her looking in their direction. Tanuki is curious after hearing that and looks outside the window, while another boy decides to shake his hand at her degree. However, the cheeky girl ignored them, which came out very unfriendly to the boys, so they began calling her hot, but a humble bitch who doesn't know that just like how she's in a low-level correspondence school, she should know her place. They mock that students in that school must be free since they do nothing for their future, and their fates are already decided. Moving on, they also comment that the girl will eventually end up finding herself a sugar daddy and get abandoned later on when she's old. Our boy Tanuki calls out the other boys and points out their words are very vulgar and inappropriate, showing how weird their imagination is. Boys began targeting Tanuki, calling him a slack-jawed one, asking him to repeat what he just said. Tanuki feels pressured and says he said nothing, and the boys start teasing him for getting angry over nothing. Tanuki looks down at the dictionary while being insulted, and he notices the word family and its definition in the book, as it holds a special place in his heart. After the school, Tanuki returns home, and right at the door, he meets the same girl from before, and turns out she's actually his big sister. She tells him rudely to move out of her way, and when he asks her where she's going, she replies with an attitude, "Why does he care?" as it sounds gross. She tells him to mind his business and leaves through the door, while calling him an annoying virgin. Tanuki seems used to her attitude, and he politely asks her to be careful out there. Then he notices a tag on her pants and tells her about it. His sister, Kano, gets flustered and asks him to repeat what he just said. Tanuki reads out the price of the pants, 2,000 yen, to confirm he's not lying, after which Kano immediately reaches for the tag and snaps it from the pants. Tanuki is confused by her weird behavior, while she looks at the tag and asks him why he was looking there in the first place, calling it sick of him. Tanuki doesn't know why that's his fault when he helped her, and he can't understand just what her problem is. He knows that his sister's famous for being a cheeky girl, and actually, they aren't related by blood. Later, Tanuki goes over to his best friend's place to study, and while they were in the middle of it, Tanuki momentarily asks his friend out of the blue what he thinks family is. His friend replies family is just family, and for better or worse, it's nothing more or nothing less than that. Tanuki admits that might just be it. Then his friend asks him how he sees family. Tanuki replies that family is something precious, and that answer is fine enough in his friend's view. Then his friend Takanaka asks him if he's worried about his sister, and Tanuki is surprised by his good guess. Takanaka states it's easy to guess because he knows his best friend better than anyone after all these years. Tanuki spells his worry to him, that lately he doesn't understand his sister, and whenever he talks to her, it turns into a fight, and she puts more distance between them every time, unlike the past. He's worried for her because she's family after all. Right then, Takanaka tells him to never mind that and he should check out the latest work, Make Her Understand, which is an adult novel from his favorite author, Mayanban Sensei. Tanuki is creeped out as he asks what's that, and Takanaka gets mad to see Tanuki isn't aware. Tanuki doesn't see a point in Takanaka bringing that up in the middle of a serious conversation. Then Takanaka feels pity for his friend and takes it upon himself, the adult novel's master, to explain it to his friend. Tanuki reminds him he's also a minor like him, so he shouldn't be reading adult novels in the first place. Takanaka skips that and explains the novel, To Make Her Understand, is about making a cheeky, strong-willed girl to accept defeat. Tanuki finds it a bit scary from context. However, Takanaka calls him an amateur and breaks it down to him that the cheekier the girl is, the more cute and incredibly honest she becomes when he breaks her pride. Tanuki is still clueless, so Takanaka simplifies it for him that he might just find an answer here in this novel on how to make his sister understand him. Tanuki is now getting what he's saying, but some parts of the novel still feels off, and just like that, their study session comes to an end. Later that night, Tanuki returns home right before the dinner time and finds the dinner served on the table for 4 of them. He praises mom's cooking, looking good as always. Then his mother asks him to call his sister over for dinner. Tanuki and Kano might not be real siblings, but they've been together since they were kids, and now when he want to call her out, he knocks on the door but doesn't receive any response, which means she's still not back home. Just then, he saw her entering the house through the entrance, so he tells her that everyone's waiting for her for dinner, but she didn't want any food, hearing which, Tanuki felt propelled to ask her why, since they used to eat together before. She got annoyed and asked why he was waiting so long for her. Tanuki replies that's because they're family, so they would obviously wait for her. She felt strange after hearing that, but on the surface, she pretended to be annoyed and said they're not a real family. Tanuki felt a bit down after hearing that. Then Kano called him out for staring too much at her and should look away. Tanuki noticed her bold outfit and asked if she's going out at this time in these clothes. Kano told him she can do whatever she wants, and he points out she didn't used to be like this. Kano calls him a creep for telling her what she should do or not, and now, after seeing how she's getting into bad influence, Tanuki makes his decision firmly to make her understand in his own way. Later, when Kano is with her friends, or more fittingly, just a bunch of selfish people. They are just hippies gathered to drink and pass time with no plans or whatsoever. Kano isn't aware of how out of place she feels between them because of her weak will, and the guys around her keep trying to get her extremely drunk. Kano avoids drinking since she doesn't like it, but they just tell her it's not nice to avoid drinking and she should just get used to it since she's 21 already. Right then, one of the guys who's doing both drinking and smoking simultaneously puts his arm around her and tells her not to be so stubborn and to feel at ease around here. He intentionally moves his hand closer to her chest, trying to take advantage of her weak will, which makes her prone to submission. Others point out the guy Korea for making a move on Kano just because she's big, and Korea tells them to shut up since nobody cares. Somehow, Kano musters up the courage to push the guy's hand away from her, but she ends up being looked at with an unfriendly gaze from everyone, which scares her. All of them start making fun of her for being an idiot, not being able to read the room, eventually forcing her to drink up. Once she drank and got wasted, they started calling her cute and even took pictures of her. After that, they were about to make moves on drunk Kano, and she tried to save herself by trying to go home, but Korea stopped her by hand and said there's no way they would let her go home since they called her here to get her drunk like this. During Kano's slowly looking consciousness, guys make comments that all they like about her is her looks. Then one of them mentions she has a little brother, but they're not related by blood, so that brother must also be looking at her from perverted eyes. Just then, the doorbell rang, and one of the guys asked if anyone ordered delivery. Korea asked the guy in white to go and check, but he didn't want to bother. Then Korea just forced him with a gaze, and the guy had to give in and had to check the door. When he checks out through the peephole and asks the man outside what it is, the guy replies he brought the ordered food delivery. Unexpectedly, the guy turns out to be Kano's brother, Tanuki, and he delivers a large order of sushi. The guys wondered who ordered the food, since no one recalls ordering anything. Then Tanuki mentions it was an order from someone named Kano. Korea and other guys called her cute and didn't shy away from eating the sushi. They laughed at the same time at her, since she got them food, and yet they don't care if they tricked her into drinking for their intentions. Tanuki was hearing their words. Then Korea questioned what he was still doing here. Tanuki claimed he had to recover something important, after which he went and picked it up and declared that he'll be retrieving Kano. Kano was making a happy face, likely because she's drunk. Just then, Korea stopped Tanuki and said this girl is theirs. Then he noticed Tanuki was actually Kano's little brother, and they understood he's here to save his sister. Korea politely warned Tanuki to put her down because he's annoyed, especially after Tanuki interrupted something important. Tanuki called out Korea's full name, along with the school name and his current year. Korea asked if that's supposed to be a threat, which is barely anything for him. But it wasn't all, as Tanuki began stating Korea's birth date, blood type, and also all the bad, shameful stories of his past that he's been trying to hide from others to not be embarrassed, like he had to quit soccer because of an injury, and then he turned to delinquency to pass time and eventually started stealing money from his mother's wallet. He's also on probation due to an assault 2 years ago, and is also scared of police. Korea questioned Tanuki how he knew all of that, to which he simply replied they're just rumors, and rumors easily spread anywhere. He asked other boys the same, as if saying he also got dirt on them, and Korea can't do anything in this situation either. Tanuki managed to save his sister and brought her back home safely, resting her down at the entrance. He looked at her expressions, which made him worried, thinking what would have happened if he hadn't saved her. He called out Sister Kano and told her she'll catch a cold if she keeps lying down like that. Kano got up and was confused why she was seeing her brother's face. Then Tanuki asked her why she was sleeping there. She told him it's none of his business, after which he just gave her a bottle of water to drink and get over her hangover. She claimed to not want any, so Tanuki just left the water there for her and went off saying goodnight. Once he went to his room, Kano picked up the water bottle and started opening it, since she needed it after all. However, she was feeling too weak to open it, and just opening it was a struggle. She wished Tanuki could have at least opened it first, and that aside, she felt the need to head to her room. Tanuki was standing right by the door of his room, hearing her words, and he feels like this won't be enough to make her understand completely, but he definitely made some progress this time. The next day, when Kano was taking a bath, she thought back on how she got home yesterday after she got drunk. Slowly, she remembered everything from going there, getting tricked by her friends, them making comments on her and her brother while taking her pictures without consent, and lastly, Tanuki coming to save her and bringing her back home, then offering water to get over her hangover. She was happy at that time and didn't realize much of what was going on, but now that she thinks about all of that, she slashes water on her face, feeling guilty, because even though she does nothing but hurl abuses at her brother, he's always kind to her. In a way, it's all a bit annoying for her. Then she notices that she can't find her bag anywhere. Meanwhile, in school, Takanaka calls out Tanuki when it's lunchtime, and he suggests they should have lunch on the roof today, since there's a lot he has to ask of Tanuki. Later on the roof, Takanaka mentions having heard about the sushi incident, where Tanuki went to snatch his sister away from those bullies. Tanuki didn't expect him to hear about it that quickly, but that's just rumors spreading quickly. And more importantly, Takanaka was curious if Tanuki finally made her understand this time. Takanaka thinks Tanuki must have had some sort of strategy of something to turn her docile, and he wants the details, to know if things really went just like he's imagining, with Tanuki getting a bit forceful with her. Tanuki points out Takanaka's imagination is way off, and actually he does not like it when people just start making up fantasies about his sister. Takanaka apologized for that. Then Tanuki mentioned it wasn't all that bad, but he was actually able to take action thanks to some of his words. He stated that there are rumors saying his sister is a cheeky girl who hurls abuses at people when she opens her mouth. But the way Tanuki sees her, she's as timid and easily influenced just like she's always been. Tanuki can see through that and using her surroundings to make her understand. He didn't want to make her submit violently because that way it would be hard for her to say she's glad she opened up to him. So he'll be patient and maintain his distance while gently encouraging his sister to change on her own. He wanted to make her understand by investigating her surroundings, devising strategies, then using her bad environment to make her see what's bad and good. Takanaka asked if Tanuki could really do that, to which he replied he can, and that's how he'll increase her understanding naturally. Takanaka could see he's determined to help his sister, which means the rumor was indeed true that Tanuki charged in a room of bullies to save her. Tanuki being so bold is unlike him, to which Tanuki replies he just wants his sister to be happy. And a big part of the reason why his sister ended up like that is the influence from the people around her. Tanuki has always observed her, so now Takanaka understands that Tanuki wants to steal her away completely. Tanuki called it a crude way of putting it, but in Takanaka's terms, it's something similar to mental adult novels. Tanuki is lost again on his terms and calls him nasty. Then Tanuki receives a call from his mother, and she calls him in an emergency as Kano collapses at home. Later, Tanuki goes straight home and prepares food for his sister before heading to her room. He knocks before entering and confirms her condition, that she caught a cold. She was still as rude as ever, asking if he's looking down on her and here to make fun of her. She denied having the food he brought, even though she hadn't eaten anything since yesterday. Tanuki is worried for her, but she calls him annoying and tells him to go away. Tanuki asks her who was the one to go out lightly dressed at night and get sick, hearing which, she calls him to shut up. Tanuki reminds her again she hasn't eaten anything since she drank, so she needs to just eat now and take her meds for cold. Kano asks him why he is doing all this when they're not real siblings, and she's just some outsider in this home who isn't related by blood. And, moreover, she keeps doing whatever she wants and showers him with mean words. She feels like she deserves to be sick, and yet she doesn't get why Tanuki always meddles in. Tanuki says it's obvious because they're family. Kano is moved by hearing that. Then Tanuki tells her if she doesn't want to eat, he'll eat it. She quickly holds a corner of his shirt and says she'll eat, after which Tanuki blankly looks at her for a second, which makes her flinch and leave his shirt and apologize. Tanuki smiles and claims he's glad she'll eat now. He asks out of worry if she can eat herself since she doesn't have much strength, in which case he can feed her if she wants. Kano chuckles seeing him worried like that and claims she can eat it herself and he's annoying. This time she says everything while smiling, which means her understanding for Tanuki has grown well after seeing him worry for her. Meanwhile, in Kano's school staff room, one of the teachers notices that she has again left the space for her future goals blank, which means she needs guidance to sort it out. Next day, at Kano's school, she's attending the class, and since her school's a correspondence school, there are only 3 to 6 school days a month. Attendance is entirely in plain clothes, and classes were elective, granting a high degree of freedom to both men and women of all ages over 15. During the classes, Kano is very attentive like a good student, and later when she's walking the hallway, she doesn't seem to have any friend to talk to, and no one pays much attention to her either. Kano comes down to submit her class reports like usual, when she notices an old man having trouble looking for a comprehensive Japanese section. The old man is worried because he needs to turn it in quickly, or he won't be able to take his next lesson. The old man turns to Kano, and she helps the man by pointing at the session for comprehensive Japanese. The guy is happy to finally find it, but it's too high for him to reach. Kano helps him out and submits the report for the guy, and she's glad to be of help. Just then, Kano's homeroom teacher, Hiroshi, comes and mentions she seems relaxed. He states having heard from her guardians that she caught a cold yesterday, and asks if she's okay now. Before she could reply, Hiroshi claims he was worried she might get held back another year. Kano is feeling pressured and uncomfortable, but the teacher disregards that and asks her if she could come to the guidance counselor's room regarding her future goals. Kano is surprised to see the blank form, and she feels pressed to listen to the teacher. Later in the counseling room, Kano was there, and teacher Hiroshi was glad he met her in person that time. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come even from an announcement. He offered to make some coffee for them and asked her to sit there. Kano did as instructed, but she didn't seem happy for some reason. Hiroshi spoke about how he's always warning her that teachers are busier than she thinks, and making time for these interviews is a lot of trouble for him. He straight up asks her if she's aware of her egocentric behavior, which is causing troubles for him. Kano apologized for that, whereas teacher Hiroshi seems to be enjoying this sight of making the cheeky girl's defeated face. He claims to be worried about her, but in reality he's just obsessed with Kano and finds it funny to poke at her weak spot by telling her to consider her age and also that her decisions might be a bother to her family. Kano felt sorry as she believed she was the problem, and Hiroshi wanted her to think exactly that, so he could take pleasure from her nervous face. He claimed to be wanting to help her pave her future path, but he's just taking advantage of her low self-esteem, and slowly, he moves his hand back her thighs and puts his arm around her shoulder, as he knows she won't speak up for himself anyway. He tried to convince her that he's the only one who understands how she feels, but in reality he's just taking advantage of her isolated personality to make her his by claiming he'll always be there for her. But to his surprise, she speaks up and gets away from Hiroshi, which surprised him. She simply stated she'll be going back to her class. Teacher Hiroshi asked her what she'll do about her future goals, and she replied she'll decide after talking it out with her family. Hiroshi is shocked since it's the first time she's spoken so impudently to him, but even so, he's not going to give up on rehabilitating her. Meanwhile, it's not like Kano was not fazed at all by everything teacher Hiroshi said, and this incident made her shut down a part of her understanding again, as she felt like a bother to her family. Right then, she was called out by Tanuki, and she looked up and saw her brother with his best friend Takanaka. Tanuki asked her if she's heading home now, but she didn't answer and seemed upset about something. Tanuki wondered what happened to her, whereas Takanaka asked Tanuki all excitedly if it wasn't his older sister Kano. He told Kano it's been a while since they've last seen each other, but Kano is kind of taken aback by his loud voice. Tanuki noticed his sister's eyes were kind of red, so he asked if she cried. Kano asked how did he know, to which she replied it's easy to see, and she told him not to look at her and go away. Tanuki got worried and tried to get her to come back home with him, but she didn't want to go with him and kept walking. Suddenly, Takanaka stumbled upon a rock and fell down right at his face, and both Kano and Tanuki worried if he's okay. Takanaka just got up and called Kano big sister, asking if she still remembers him, Takanaka's best friend. She instead asks if he's okay first, which assures Takanaka that she's still as kind as ever. He asked her why don't they commemorate their reunion after so many years with a little detour on the way home. She couldn't deny him like that, and so they ended up getting ice creams from the convenience store. Takanaka was delighted to have it together with his friends after so long, while Tanuki noticed his sister was just looking at her ice cream, and he told her to eat quickly before it melts. She told him to shut up and started having the ice cream, but since it was melting a bit, the ice cream dripped on her, and she was having trouble eating like that. Tanuki is worried how she'll manage herself like that, and she kept on looking at spilled ice cream. Tanuki asked her how she managed that. Kano claimed to have spilled just a bit. Then he asked if she got a handkerchief. Kano rudely replied why would she have any, in which case Tanuki lent her his handkerchief. Kano refused to need it. Tanuki questioned if she's seriously going home all sticky like that, and it'll be a while when she reaches home, and who knows if she'll be alright like that. Kano told him to shut up as she took the hanky, but Tanuki didn't seem finished, and he called her awkward through every word. Kano got pissed upon hearing that. Then Tanuki just reminded her how awkward it was when she went out with that tag still on, being lightly dressed, which made her catch a cold, and now she even sucks at eating ice cream and she doesn't have a handkerchief with her. Kano just told him to shut up, but Tanuki wanted her to know that it's times like these when she can just be honest about what she's feeling. Kano is surprised to hear that while Tanuki casually keeps eating his ice cream, Kano wondered if she could really be honest about her feelings, and the first thing she did was to thank Tanuki for lending her the handkerchief. Tanuki happily welcomed her thanks, while Takanaka was observing how Tanuki was making his sister understand. Kano again rudely asks him why he's smiling like a creep. Tanuki just claimed to be answering her question, nothing else. Takanaka gets it now that Tanuki is expressing his affection for his sister by getting close to her and drawing out her true feelings. Kano didn't hear that since she got a notification, while Tanuki told his friend not to go blabbing out like that. Just then, Kano called out those two and told them to take her bag and go home without her. Tanuki and Takanaka were confused by the sudden change in her behavior, but they can't do much about it now. Sometime later, Kano is standing outside the door of Korea's flat, and he's glad to see the convenient Gyaru come all the way to his place. He planned on smoothly taking her and having his way with her, and on surface, he claims to be missing her since they last saw each other. However, Kano is here to just pick up her bag which she left behind before, after which she was about to leave for home. But Korea didn't plan on letting her just go back like that. He stopped her and claimed to be worried earlier, and now that she's come all the way here, he plans to contact everyone so they could all have drinks together. Kano wonders what she's doing now, as it's the same thing all over again. Right then, she received a message from little brother Tanuki, asking her what time she plans on coming back home. After seeing that, Kano didn't want to let her own weakness ever heat her again, so she replied she'll come back by nighttime, and Tanuki told her they're going to be her favorite hamburgers tonight. Kano was feeling warm from texts from her brother, especially the last one asking her to be careful coming home. She's starting to open up thanks to her pushy brother, and she truly feels like she has a family now. Soon, Korea came back after making calls to everyone, and he said they'll be here soon. Kano didn't seem happy about it, while Korea made his move on her, saying they should do something nice until others come. This time, Kano pushed him away and made it clear she'll be going back home now. Korea was shocked by her courage, while Kano seemed firmer than ever and didn't care even if Korea tried to persuade her by targeting her low self-esteem. Kano just replied with a smile that she's got a little brother waiting for her with hamburgers. So Korea can say whatever, but she's not coming here anymore. Meanwhile at home, Tanuki prepared the dinner by himself and served it on the dining table. He checked his phone, where he received texts from his mother, thanking him for the trip vouchers he got for both his mom and dad, and they're enjoying the trip a lot. Soon, Kano arrived at home, and she seemed a bit nervous to see Tanuki for some reason. Tanuki just smiled and warmly welcomed her back home, which made her feel comfortable. She asked him where his mom and dad are, to which he replied they're on a trip, and apparently they seem to have won tickets for Tutunansen. Kano's eyes fell upon the hamburger, and she praised how good it looked. Tanuki told her he made it, which came as a surprise to Kano, and she chuckled as she praised him for doing so. Tanuki was happy to receive praise from Big Sis, after which she went to wash her hands before eating. Tanuki is wondering if she's finally back to her old self, while Kano is feeling flustered during washing hands, because she's feeling bad about the bad behavior she had given to Tanuki all this time. She's not sure what kind of face she's supposed to make, and she doesn't want to show her nervousness to him. She went back to dinner with a composed face, then both dived right into the dinner. She really liked the taste of the hamburger, and every bite was exquisite, and Tanuki got to witness his sister's happy face, although with a bit of tenseness. He felt like that's not it, and told her she didn't have to try so hard to patch things up. Kano asked what he was saying. Then Tanuki mentioned that whenever she gets nervous, trying to hide her feelings, her eyebrows furrow and her voice drops a little. He can guess she mostly feels bad about everything until now, and she doesn't understand what kind of face she's supposed to make. Kano feels more nervous and tells him to shut up. She admits she selfishly pushed him away because of her inferiority complex, started hurling abuses at him, and she feels about all the trouble she caused him until now. She can't just pretend all that stuff until now didn't happen, so she doesn't understand what kind of face she's supposed to make. Tanuki told her that's fine, since it's normal to make up after a right, eating together regardless of anything. And that's what a family and siblings are about. He made her understand that clashing, struggling, and sometimes regretting is all how they grow together. Kano understands what he's trying to make her understand, while Tanuki continues enjoying the dinner. Out of nowhere, she ends up chuckling and laughing properly, while telling him he's cheeky for a little brother. Tanuki is genuinely happy to see her smile without any worry, and that's how he wanted to make her understand more than anything. Because after all, Kano is very important to Tanuki, and he wants her to always be happy. Just like right now, she's smiling from ear to ear, which happens when she's having her favorite food. Meanwhile, back in school, teacher Hiroshi seems to be obsessing over Kano Kamaru, and he thinks she's the whole reason why he became a teacher, solely to guide her himself. Back at home, Kano is just enjoying her hamburger, and her hands won't stop stuffing up more food. Tanuki mentioned how he made Japanese-style sauce to match her tastes, and also bought other ingredients from many places to make sure she'll enjoy it. She praises he's really a genius for being able to make such tasty food. Then Tanuki points out that she got a hamburger in her mouth. She nervously cleaned it with her finger, and just this awkward moment in front of her brother made her all flustered. Next day in school, Tanuki shared what happened last night with Takanaka, and he also ended up bringing the leftover mix of hamburger since he had prepared too much for his sister as backup. Takanaka applauded Tanuki for using his savings to get his parents tickets for a trip, just so he could get to eat alone with his sister. But Tanuki just did it since he figured she would have it easy to open up if it's just the two of them. Takanaka teased Tanuki's not being very honest, which made him mad, and he started explaining each and everything that was going through his mind. Takanaka apologized for teasing him. Then he just asked out of curiosity about his reason for being so close to sister, when she's not actually his real sister. Tanuki replied that as far as the relationship goes, Kano is actually his cousin. She's his mother's sister's child. And as for the reason why he's passionate about her, Tanuki doesn't have an immediate response to that. Just then, Takanaka pointed out the school's gate and said it's the hot-blooded instructor Hiroshi. He wondered why he was here. Then Tanuki asked him who he was. Takanaka filled him in that the teacher is in charge of guidance counseling in the high school next door. Then he asked Tanuki if he really doesn't know anything about him. Tanuki confirmed he's clueless. Then Takanaka brought out his phone and searched for information on that teacher, which reveals that he's an infamous teacher who has guided countless students to to prestigious national universities, and he was popular on TV for a time. There was even an interview of Hiroshi on the internet from 5 years ago, and when Tanuki asked the reason behind it, Takanaka told him something suspicious happened with that teacher, and he got transferred right away. Apparently, he was charged for harassing weak-willed female students in the name of counseling and making obscene demand from them. It wasn't revealed for years until the victim girl confessed everything one day. Tanuki feels something off about this, and he hopes nothing happens to his sister. Later, he recalls Takanaka's question why Tanuki is going so far to help her, and even when he thinks about her troublesome behavior and rude words in the past, he can't deny it makes him happy when he sees her slowly opening up her understanding as a precious family member. Right then, the broadcast speakers call for Tanuki Shinji of Class 2A to the classroom, and it's very uncalled for Tanuki to be summoned like that. Other students wonder what could have happened, since they can't think of any reason for Tanuki to be called, as he hadn't caused any problems at all. Tanuki is suddenly the center of his classmates' curiosity, and he himself has a bad feeling about this. However, he feels relieved when Takanaka tells Tanuki to come along, as he'll accompany him as well, and it makes Tanuki feel okay. He makes his way to the staff room and asks the teacher what business they have with him. Unexpectedly, Tanuki isn't called here by his teacher, but instead the shady teacher Hiroshi, who grins creepily while greeting Tanuki, as if he's plotting something for him. Hiroshi planned to isolate Kano Kamaru, and for that plan, he's here to give off the impression to Tanuki as if Kano's a troubled student. The other teacher asked Hiroshi why he's here, as if something happened with Tanuki, to which Hiroshi replied that he's here because Tanuki's cohabitant is his student. Tanuki stays firm as Hiroshi keeps on acting as if Tanuki should get it by now. Then another teacher meddles in and says he has heard of Kano Kamaru by her parents. Hiroshi keeps mocking as if the other teacher doesn't have a clue that she doesn't have parents. But just then Tanuki makes it clear that he is Kamaru's family, and what business does the teacher have with him? Hiroshi didn't expect Tanuki to think of her as a proper family like this. Then he just went and showed him the future goals sheet for Kano, which is blank for some reason. Tanuki asked why he was showing it to him, to which Hiroshi replied this is putting him in a bind, because Kano is ignoring consultation again and again despite Hiroshi giving her advice even after going out his way during busy hours. He mentioned that she's still sticking to a goal she had written first, which is cosmetology, but Hiroshi advised her to go for something else since it's difficult to become one at her age. Tanuki just replied, so, and teacher Hiroshi didn't expect a blank response like that. He explained to him that if she doesn't get a steady job, she'll cause problems for Tanuki's parents. Hiroshi was planning to make Tanuki annoyed of her, since boys this age might hate someone with no blood relation causing trouble for him. He also added Kano saying she'll talk to her family and ran away from consultation. He thought Tanuki would be mad by hearing that, but instead, he seemed happy to see his sister said she'll consult the family. Hiroshi realized that Tanuki's the one who changed Kano, which is a problem for him, and now he just pretended to be relieved to see her having good relatives. Tanuki is feeling something's off here, while Hiroshi has already started thinking of some other scheme to take advantage of Kano. After that, Hiroshi took his leave, while Tanuki and Takanaka wondered why teacher Hiroshi insisted so much. Takanaka claims that teacher Hiroshi hasn't changed at all in all these years, raising a question why are they still letting him be an instructor at this school. Tanuki figures the state schools are a bit lax about their staff, and there's a good chance that teacher Hiroshi still hasn't learned his lesson and is going to do something worse if left alone. Takanaka asked how does he know that, to which he replied it's just his guess, but teacher Hiroshi seems to be obsessing over his sister. Meanwhile, Kano has been doing her homework for some time and is tired and hungry at the same time. Right then, Tanuki comes back home and hears Kano wishing she could eat that hamburger again. When she realizes Tanuki's right behind her, she is flustered and scolds him for popping up behind her just like that and spook her. She knows he definitely heard her, but she didn't want to show she's panicking about it. Tanuki just casually asks if she's doing her homework and praises that she's really impressive with her focus on studies. Kano didn't feel well about being praised by someone who got it good, and she asks him if he's making fun of her. Tanuki simply states there's nothing bad in him praising her for doing her best, and he admits that praising every little thing is his style in the first place. He grins in a peculiar way while saying all that, and Kano here knows since childhood that Tanuki always makes that face when he's not lying. She figures he hasn't changed since he was small and calls him out for that while chuckling herself. Tanuki admits that might be true. Then he proceeds to ask her what kind of guy that teacher Higashioka Hiroshi is. Kano is startled to hear that name coming out of Tanuki and questions how he knows him.